Alright, stream is going online. So let's see what's happening. I actually think I've got even G busy booting up now. Not quite up yet. And while that's happening, let me maybe get some background music ready. There we go. That's a good song, good album. Yeah. Let me just close Camera Hub, Steam, all that stuff. There we go. Alright, so last place I was on was I brought online a couple of OpenSense firewalls. And let me just reconnect them again, power them back on, and see if I can get this Tailscale working between them. Because that was where I was on the last episode of Dragon Ball Z. Log in a Tailscale. So I think I've got these two VMs already here, which is quite nice. Let me just turn that down a little bit. There we go. And let's see, what can I get done? Don't see anybody in the stream, so that's good. Let me just see what OpenSense is saying. I don't even remember when I made the IPs. I think I made it something like 192.168.10 or 2. One of the two. That's the only kind of bad thing. Let me just see, can I maximize this? Probably need to just increase the resolution on the VM. Where do I do that on the Docker though? Not an idea. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Let's just go into our main terminal, and then I can just do a ifconfig. No IP set, ifconfig, eth0. Let's just see. Although the VNC is not going to open out because I don't have the HTML console. Do I really need to do this? Apparently yes. So let's just turn on HTML5 console. Which one was it? OpenSense 3? Yeah. So that looks quite good. So let's see if I go back into this OpenSense VM. What is this LAN IP? 192.168.1.1. Perfect. So I can just quickly set that on my 192.168.100. And then route add default gateway 192.168.1.1. And I think this should just give it internet immediately, which is quite nice. But I'd really like to get the Tailscale portion up and running. And for that, I do think I'll need to log in here. And just go into the shell. And Tailscale up. And let's just maybe navigate to the Docker and quickly see what happens if I jump in onto the OpenSense VM 192.168.1.1. 3. Let's just have a quick look here. What have we done with our assignments? Okay, that's fine. And if I jump onto the Tailscale VPN section, I think it's good to look at the status as well, just to see what it's saying. No peers connected. I mean, I should at least see that this is connected to Tailscale, so it bugged out after I added the interfaces to an interface assignment. So I don't know if that's somehow tied into how I need to get this working. I mean, probably just have a look at the documentation again. That's a great place to start. So while I'm opening up VNC, let's go on to the Tailscale OpenSense. Using Tailscale with OpenSense. Yada yada. Start the service. I already know it's enabled, but maybe let's try these other commands as well. Well, let's just try it for... Oh, there it says invalid key and unable to validate API key. So service Tailscale enable. Service Tailscale start, which I'm sure it's already started. It's already running. And Tailscale version, which is fine. Let me maybe, because I know I made a few changes as well in Tailscale. Let me just revert some of that as well. Because maybe that's somehow causing a bit of an issue. Because I know I did do something like advertised routes. Not sure if that has any impact. And let's just have a look at my Tailscale machines if it shows anything's connected. Nothing's connected yet. I wonder if I need to remove it just quickly and try and re-add it. Let's see if that does anything. Just gonna remove both, because I'm pretty sure all I do is a Tailscale up and it should give me that key again that I can just connect with. Hopefully. Invalid key, unable to validate API key. So next logical step is just to Google that. Invalid key, API key, Tailscale OpenSense. The stuff that I'm seeing on Google isn't pretty helpful though. It's just telling me, hi Andy. So it's just telling me that I need to potentially update the plugin, and I'm not sure if there are any updates. We can quickly have a look and see. Plugins. So firmware, plugins. Let's see if we have anything here for the Tailscale. I can see it there, but I don't see any update there. Just do a check for updates. Yada yada. Just run a quick update here. Oh, there it did update something for Tailscale. So let's see if that potentially fixes my issue. I mean, I probably didn't have to remove it out of the Tailscale portal then. Let me just go back there so long as well. And see if the update's finished. Okay, that shows that's done. Alright, let's try that again. And if I maybe just have a look at the Tailscale version, has that updated? Yeah, that's up a couple of versions, that's fine. Tailscale up it. Okay, is that an issue? Probably. So what I might do is just delete and reinstall the plugin maybe. Fiddle around like that. $183, so that looks fine. Alright, let's go back. Just going to quickly reboot the device as well. Because I'm just using the Tailscale portal for this stuff. And I don't suppose I need to change anything there. So that's just coming back online. And while that's coming back online, okay, so that is definitely back up, I think. I've got internet, so should be up. Root. And let's have a little look. See, I just want to check something out with the Tailscale interface stuff. Right, is enabled. So that all looks fine to me. Alright, so let's just go back to the here. Go into the shell. Tailscale version. Tailscale up. And it's going to complain again about the same thing, isn't it? Or maybe not. Let's see what it does. Maybe we are striking gold. Or it's going to complain about the API key again. Either way is possible. Invalid key, unable to validate API key. So why is that happening? I know that I got it working, what was last week or the week before? It was last week, I think. And then I just quickly brought these devices online on Tailscale, and then while I was doing something, it just stopped working. And this shouldn't be an issue. Let's just go through some more of the docs. Let me have a look. Maybe there's some more stuff I can do. Open sense code ports. What's that? Okay, so there's definitely a few more things there. I just don't know if I need to run the setup again from scratch since I already installed it as a plugin. I'll try and just see if it works after I do this initial step again. It'd be quite cool to see if I can just get Tailscale working between just these two nodes and then build like a mini little, you know, two remote networks talking and exchanging information. It seems like a busy bit of code though. While that's happening, let me just bring in a new OpenSense node in the meantime as well and see if I have similar issues. Just give it a little bit more RAM. Start up that big firewall. Connect it to the cloud. I think VMnet 1 goes to our cloud and VMnet 0 goes to the LAN. Could probably just add another Docker with the GUI server and pop that in there. So let's start that up and see what the result is. Oh, okay. So if we update Tailscale, there's actually a whole different section. So it's not just as straightforward as what I did. So I might actually do this section where it's talking about updating Tailscale. Let me just move it over. I might just also just drag it in there. Because there it just says, if you want to update Tailscale, perform the following steps as user. And we just did this console ports bit, which is what they suggest you do when you do a fresh install. But I know since I updated it, maybe I should just do these bits. And potentially that will fix it. Interesting. The branch is up to date. All right, cool. So we've done step 1. Step 2 is change directory to that user ports security Tailscale. User ports security Tailscale. And then we want to make deinstall. Oops, make deinstall. Make clean. Make install. Make install. And then there was one more thing we had to do, which was the service Tailscale D restart. Cool. Hopefully this fixes it, because I'd love to just have this working. I should have probably just started looking at the documentation first. But who knows, maybe it's not even fixed, maybe it's not even working. Oops. That doesn't seem good. Don't know if that's an issue. That's another thing that I'd maybe like to test out. See if I can maybe get a Tailscale container working on MikroTik as well. Because then I might be able to get these devices all chatting with each other as well. Although I kind of like just using ZeroTier for that purpose already. But hey, more options is always good. I'm also not sure why MikroTik doesn't just integrate Tailscale, although maybe they feel like having ZeroTier already serves that function or purpose. So then they might not even have to do it, which makes sense. Like, it is logical, it's just they'd have duplicates of other type of things, so, you know. Although maybe not. If you think about it, they had the argument they don't need to do IS because they've got OSPF already, and that was the mentality for years, even decades. I shouldn't even say years, I should say decades. They were like, we got OSPF, you don't need IS. Which is a pretty interesting mentality to have. Alright, this install is way longer than what I would have liked it to be honest. Let's just do it from this new Docker container. Let's go in here. ifconfig eth0 192.168.100 as well. Route default gateway 192.168.1.1. Although I'm probably going to end up changing that IP address anyways. It's just so that I can get in on this firewall quickly. Oopsie. 192.168.1.1. Advanced. Accept. Root. And I think I just quickly need to run through the wizard, which is fine. Just basically gonna spam that next button. Next, 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 next. Alright, so that's fine. And then we're just quickly gonna do a firmware upgrade. Firmware upgrade. I think I could see it in the status. So check for updates. Alright, that's cool. So let's do the update. It's so nice that they even tell us this is gonna need a reboot. Hey, Stefan. Let's see. Is this other OpenSense instance finished with whatever it was doing? Still busy. Like, that's pretty weird. Because I really prefer to just install the plugin through here. It feels a lot quicker to just do that. Right, has this finished yet? No, still got a little bit of time to go. Gotta stay hydrated. Okay, let's see what's happening. Almost done. Almost done. Doubt it. I think this first VM is gonna take a while. While I'm waiting for this to install, let me have a look at the OpenSense documentation. I haven't been on there in a long time. Documentation. I think it's probably like docs.opensense.com or something. opensense.org or net or something like that. Do I even have internet on this device yet? Apparently not. Oh, but it's rebooting. Duh. I just didn't think it would be that quick. Let's see what the other container's doing. Nothing. See when we've got internet again. Shouldn't take too long. Well, I hope not. There we go. We got internet back up and running. Now I just quickly need to install the plugin. System's currently booting. Not all services have started. That's fine. So firmware, plugins. I should see a Tailscale plugin, I hope. Tailscale. Alright, let's install this. 1083, so that was fine. Alright, and if I just refresh, I should see the VPN. So let's just go into Tailscale quickly, and I should just be able to enable it here. Oops. And once that's done, I can quickly just go on to the command line for it and just do the Tailscale up for it. Root. And before I do that, I just want to grab this one side, Tailscale up. Alright, so that functions. I just quickly need to jump onto this Tailscale URL. And sorry, that's the reason why I just quickly moved the stuff across. login.tailscale.com/a/ and then whatever the code is. Where are you? I kind of wish I could just copy out of this. One A518. All right, so device has been added. So let me just go back onto my panel. There we go, I can see this device. So I can just quickly bring the screen back. And then you just do it like that. No. Oh, no, it does. It even gives me the IP address there, so that's nice. But it's kind of pointless just having a single machine on the what can I call it? The tail net, the tail mesh, whatever they want to call it. I'm pretty sure it sounds like tailnet would be a good explanation for what it is. Oh, why is this other thing taking so long? Let me just see what it's saying on here. Pre-auth key. I should probably do something like some pre-auth stuff. Can I open up another session onto that machine? Will it break anything if I do? Nah, it's not going to do anything. Like this I feel is not normal. So while this one node is doing its thing, let's just see if I can get the second node kind of working. So this is TMB123. So that was 192.168.2.0. So I'm just gonna follow along with some of the stuff. I'm just gonna do this bit, but I'm not gonna do this whole what made it freak out? I don't even know. I don't even remember if it was the deinstall or the install that made it freak out. Let's just do OpenSense-code ports. OpenSense-code ports. OpenSense-code ports. I should actually have started with the update, to be honest, but I'll do that now as well. So, applications, make terminal, ifconfig, eth80. I should really just add a script in the beginning of Eve to just add these IPs itself. 168.2.100/24 route add default gateway 192.168.2.1 .net. So let's jump onto 192.168.2.1. Oops, it's already got the password saved. Not router. Just root or route, depending on where you're from. And then we can jump into the system, firmware, status, and let's just do this update, then the next update, and see if it actually does what I wanted to do. I just kind of need to make sure that the code thing is finished as well. So before I smash that update button, I just need to make sure that it is where I want it to be. So what is that? OpenSense 3. That's almost done. But it's pretty good that it is working actually. It is up and running. It's just the update made it fail a little bit. I wonder if I do add that other interface into a assignment, if it's going to break again. I mean, that's something worth testing while I wait. So let me just find that Docker. Is this the right one? I think so. I'm getting so many containers again. I'm starting to kind of lose track of them. So let's just look at our interfaces. There should be a unassigned OpenSense or Tailscale interface. Yes, there is. So I could just make this Tailscale or something. Let's add that. And then the Tailscale stuff we can enable and prevent interface removal, and just save it. So once that's up, apply the changes. And let me just go back to my Tailscale portal and see that it stays connected. Still connected, which is fine. So, go back to the status here. We should see our, well, there we can see our IPs. And we should see our peers. Well, I don't know if I'm seeing any peers because I haven't connected any other machines to the Tailscale network. That's pretty cool. Alright, so I've done the assignment. Let's just wait for another firewall to actually come up. Thank you, CC Cleaner. You are awesome. So back to these other Dockers. OpenSense 3, nearly done. And the first one, I'm pretty sure, is still just doing its thing. This feels really weird. I wouldn't expect the install to take that long. And I kind of just wanted to finish, so I can see what it's done, but it's a little frustrating. Let's go back here. All right, so now we can update this on this Docker. There's the update button. It doesn't seem like it needs a reboot, so that's good. Well, there I can see it's upgraded Tailscale, so it's probably gonna have a similar issue as the first firewall. I think it's finished. So let's check our updates. Should be good. Awesome. Check out our plugins and stuff. All right, that's fine. VPN, Tailscale. Make sure it's enabled. Yes, it is. I'm just going to remove the advertised routes quickly. All right, so that's fine. And our status is null, which is kind of expected because it hasn't actually connected. So let's try and force that connection from here. So Tailscale, check the version. Services Tailscaled. It's like that. Let's just restart the Tailscale service. And then I can potentially just do a Tailscale up and hopefully it works. Tailscale status. You're logged out. Tailscale up. Invalid key. So let's just get into that directory quickly. User port security tailscale. User port security tailscale. I'm kind of going to ignore a lot of these other parts, so I'm just going to do a straight make install, see what it does. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I just did a make install and then it spazzed out and took forever. Malwarebytes. So if this one does the same thing, I'm just going to control C that. What is this? That doesn't seem right to me. Let me just control C that. Let me just try and reinstall it from here. Sometimes that just makes me feel like a caveman just bashing things to try and make it work. 2514. That's fine. So I mean, it's already saying Tailscale is not even installed. Super weird it does that. Okay, let's have a quick look and see what's happening now. Go back here, CD, Tailscale version, Tailscale services, service, Tailscale the start. Right. Tailscale up. So is this actually going to do anything now? I've got a feeling it's going to fail again. Tailscale status. Okay, but the coordination server is just, well, the basic one, controlplane.tailscale.com. Control plane. Which it definitely can get to. I feel like there's something that's like in the background. Is there anything else I can just try? I love that derp relays. Install. It is just a make install. Yep. But this is kind of like where it spazzed out. It's crazy. So my two old firewalls are broken and my latest one that I just dropped into Eve works. So if I want to maybe try and get this at least tested in this session, I'm just gonna bring in another firewall. Like, I'm not in the mood to struggle. I think, there we go. That should minimize that. So, another node, another day. OpenSense. I'm just giving it a bit more RAM again, or resources. Maybe that'll help it along. Start that up. Get our Docker online. VNet 0 goes to the Docker, and VNet 1 goes to the internet. And I'm just going to stop these two below nodes because they're not doing anything. I might actually just delete them as well, to be honest. Although maybe not. I might troubleshoot it off stream to try and find the fix and make it work. Yeah. So, 123. And maybe I want to set an interface IP, and let's set the LAN IP. No. 192.168, what was that? 2.1/24. 192.168.2.1. 255, 255, 2550. All right, 24. Yes. 192.168.2.100. 192.168.2.254. Yes. Because then now I can just jump onto the Docker and give it the IP address of 192.168.2 dot whatever 100 should be good. I have config eth0 192.168.2.100/24 default gateway 192.168.2.1 and it's got internet. Awesome. Sorry for the hiccup. So let's get onto the firewall. 192.168.2.1 root. So I'm gonna just very basically just run through the setup again. That's fine, Mr. Wizard. I'm not gonna change anything really. And perfecto. Now I can just quickly do the update. Firmware, status, check for updates. All right, thank you, Mr. Let's do the update. Oh, is this one needing a reboot? I think the other one also rebooted, so it's fine. It makes sense that that's gonna happen. Oh, I see I've got another viewer on Twitch. Hello, viewer. Or are you going to be a bot and try and sell me some weird stuff like viewers, which I really don't care too much for. It's so funny drinking water on OBS and just seeing the bottle like disappear. All right, almost done. Yeah, this is exactly where we were before. Oh, that's pretty cool. You can do Tailscale on the Palo Altos as well. That's pretty neat. Although I don't really use Palo Alto that often, so I'm not 100% clued up on them. But I don't suppose it's much different than any other modern firewall. I'm pretty sure if you put the Palo Alto on a FortiGate and a checkpoint next to each other, you'd know what's going on. Like, they're all kind of doing the same thing. Alright, it's just busy rebooting. Let's see, when we get our internet back up, the update should be finished, and then we can just install the Tailscale plugin, connect to the Tailnet, and hopefully we can get things working. There we go, internet restored. A tweet. That's not what I wanted to type in. Very far from what I was trying to get into. Right, so system firmware, plugins, and then Tailscale. All right, so that's up. Am I connected to that box at all? I'm not sure if that's a different box now. Let's just quickly see. TMB 123 8 service Tailscale start. I'm pretty sure it should exist since I just installed it. Let's just refresh it here. And let's just enable it from the GUI, I guess. Apply. And then if I do a status, it's not going to be connected to anything, obviously. So let's go back to the Docker. Can I not try and paste something when I click on there? Apparently not. Let's open that up again. So what do you say? Oh, it's because I'm using the wrong wrong file name. It should be Tailscaled for the Tailscale daemon or daemon. So what I want to do is just a Tailscale up, but I'm just gonna sneak this window back to the other side quickly. And then while it does that, there we go, it gives me those wonderful details. So Tailscale, tailscale.com, a E44. Login successful. So that should actually bring us up. Let me just bring this back in here. And if I go back to the Docker, and if I just maybe refresh the page, we should see there is an IP now. Yes. And I'm pretty sure my other where's my other container? You know, this is like exactly what I'm talking about, where I've lost where I am. So I'm just gonna go out of all of this, and the real thing that I want to be on is these two firewalls quickly. And I think they're both called OpenSense, so that's probably where a bit of the confusion comes in now. So a good test to see is just if I do a Tailscale status. Ah, that's pretty cool. Tailscale status. So I can see both remote end IPs as peers. So now the idea is I should be able to ping 100, what's that, 78.193.104, because that should be this remote Tailscale device. Ping's failing, but that could also just be because of some firewall rules. So let's quickly allow the firewall rules, but I am kind of happy to see the peers that I'm actually picking up. There's some other devices connected on the network. So if I just go to my status here, if it refreshes, I should see appear there. Yes, I do. I even see the IPv6 IP address as well, which is quite nice. Alright, that's pretty cool. So let's just add some firewall rules quickly. I'm not even sure if I added the first firewall or the second firewall on an interface assignment, so I might just have to do that as well. But let's just add some rule. So what I could do is say no Tailscale rules are currently defined. All incoming connections on this interface will be blocked until you add a pass rule. Alright. So what we can do is just add maybe a very basic rule to just say anything that's coming in on the Tailscale interface for IPv4 and I'll leave the source as any as well. Actually, I'm just going to make this a very basic, like any rule. Not ideal firewall rule, but this should just quickly help me test the stuff out. So if I go back to my OpenSense, there we go, the ping is working. So this is awesome actually, because now I can just do the same thing on the other Docker container. Just allow anything from the Tailscale network quickly. So firewall, I actually think I still need to assign it. So assignments, Tailscale, TL scale. That sounds good. And then inside the Tailscale stuff, enable the interface, prevent interface removal. Let's save that. And then a very basic firewall rule to just say anything coming into the Tailscale network except. Again, not ideal, stuff that we will tweak and tune. This is just testing. So now the question is, if I do the, where is that? If I go into my, there's a couple of things we can actually do to try and figure out some routing, but let's just do this advertised routes quickly and see what that does. So what I could do is I could say, hey, on this firewall, I'm advertising the 192.168.2.0/24 subnet, remote site 2 or whatever. Apply that, and let me do a similar thing on the other firewall. So VPN Tailscale, I'll just advertise out 192.168.1.0. So this might be 192.168.1.0/24, and the description will be remote site 1. Apply that. Now the question is, will the routes actually update on the routing table? So I can maybe do something like a... There we go. I've done the same issue I had last time, where when I added the remote site routes, it broke the connectivity. Now that is interesting. And if I just revert that, does it actually do anything? I might have to figure out what I'm actually doing here, if I'm potentially breaking it somehow. All right, but I'm happy that I got that working. But I think I'm gonna have to end off the stream a little bit earlier tonight. There is something that's come up a little bit, so I'm definitely gonna do some stuff off stream as well, but you guys will definitely see the fruits of that labor once I figure out a few more things. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys again later.